What are your thoughts about like the meltdown that TYT had recently around Aaron Mate and like they're like rightward drift because TYT is like the origin story of almost a lot like so many of my leftist friends, and there was a point where TYT would like around 2014, 2013 would get around like 20,000 views per live stream.
Live
Now,
stream, yeah.
yeah, and then now they would get like 3,000 now. So it's like that shows like there's many people like me who used to watch them, many of my friends, and now they just dropped it because we see through them now.
Well, so true story. So the reason why I started doing aggressive progressives at the Young Turks was because I couldn't work there anymore when Jen started doing that loser Donald shit and all that stuff. And so I went to
So cringe.
none of us watched that fucking show anymore. None of the people who I hung around with inside the Young Turks, we couldn't watch the show, right? And so I go, hey, why don't we start another show? Hang on a second. Okay. And I was like, why don't we start another show and we'll put it on after the main show and it will debunk all the stupid shit that they're saying on the main show, right? Or we'll actually cover the issues of the day instead of doing 55 minutes on Donald Trump out of the every hour, which is what they did, the Young Turks. And that's how bad it was. Like that, me and the other people who did aggressive progressively couldn't stand that fucking place, right? I couldn't stand the show. So again, right when the show's supposed to air, Cenk puts it behind a paywall. So that was anyway. So I guess my point is that they lost us. We were their core. They lost us in 2016, right? When they couldn't wait to get on the Hillary Clinton train. Couldn't wait. And now I realize it was because he was trying to get Hillary Clinton donor money. That's what that was all about. He was trying to show everybody, look, I'm a good boy. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm never going to not be a Democrat, and I'm going to push Hillary Clinton. I'll say what I have to say, but when it comes time, you can count on me. And it could, and that's why he got $24 million from right wingers and Clinton donors. And so I don't know how you could watch that show. They literally smeared Julian Assange in 2019 or 20, like they repeated a bullshit story that Paul Manafort visited Julian Assange inside the Ecuadorian embassy 3 times, and there was never a picture of it. The most surveilled building in the world, there's no picture of him doing that. But the Young Turks repeated that CIA bullshit planted story in the Guardian. We debunked it in real time on the aggressive progressives as they were pushing it, and Cenk Uygur saying Julian Assange has picked a side and he can't be trusted. Do you realize the irony of that? That Cenk Uygur, a guy who could not be a bigger partisan, is saying you can't trust another newsman because they are. And first of all, he didn't. Julian Assange was being persecuted. They were trying to kill him. Donald Trump was literally trying to kill Julian Assange, and Cenk Uygur saying he's siding with him. What a fucking moron! And that I don't know what that was about to get. So people were. My point is, people were leaving the Young Turks all along. And then when Forced to Vote happened, that was the end for them. Their own audience saw right through what they were doing, that they were just there to prop up the Democratic Party, to run interference. They always claim they want to fight. And when the moment came to fight, they fucking poured water on it and they kneecapped the fight. And their own audience, they did a poll on Forced to Vote, and 85.6% of their own audience was for Forced to Vote. That, if you round up, that's 9 out of 10 of their paying members saw what they were doing. And now that's why no one watches their fucking show anymore. I get twice as many. I get 10,000 live streamers to their 4,000. And they're supposed to have 5 million subscribers. Who fucking believes those numbers?
Hey, JB, I got a lot to add to that, but I'll let you add something, JB. Go ahead.
Don't you? But I just think they're exposed now. Now when they come up after Aaron Mate, they've been for every bombing of Syria, right? When Trump bombed Syria, they called it Nerf bombs. They're very pro-war. They very military-industrial complex. They actually went to a weapons summit. They got paid to go to a weapons summit by NATO, and that's where Anna did that tongue bath to Madeleine Albright.
I think she's
got a problem. She's got a problem with Aaron Mate, who's on the ground in Syria. By the way, Anna Kasparian will never do reporting. She'll never even. She won't even go to a local Dairy Queen. She'll never do reporting ever. She admitted it to me. She goes, when I see you and Jordan Cheriton out there and it's so cold at Standing Rock, I'm never going out there. She said that. They're not journalists. They're smear merchants who are trying to grift. They put out these emails begging people for money. They sent an email out saying Send us money. This is during COVID and when we were trying to get $15 minimum. Send us money and we'll get you your $2,000 check. That is what the Young Turks were saying. That's the grift that they're doing. That's how fucking televangelists they are right now. And so people see through them. Their audience has left them. Their time for them has come and gone. Cenk Uygur on purpose sold out his soul for corporate cash. I was told by a executive at the Young Turks, once they took that money, is we know we have to move to the center now. And they made us all start wearing suit coats and we couldn't swear anymore on air. I was like, what the fuck?
What?
This is ridiculous. This is, you guys are this is the opposite of what you guys were supposed to be. So now it's obvious that they are just MSNBC because you can't even swear anymore on their show. But they can on their members only show, which is when Anna Kasparian told Aaron Mate, as he's reporting on the ground from Syria, fuck you. He's propping up. They're pushing pro-war CIA talking points that Saddam gassed his own people. The OPCW reports got debunked by Aaron Mate, who won an award, the Independent Journalist Award, for his debunking of Russiagate. He won the I.F. Stone Izzy Award. Did the Young Turks ever win an award for journalism? No, they won a Shorty Award for being the biggest dicks on YouTube. They're garbage. And now you saw Roger Waters from the Pink Floyd call them out on. They call them the Young Fucks, and
that's their name now. It's gonna.
He said the Young Fucks position themselves as people who question power. He goes, but they're not. They don't do that at all. They're just there to keep the status quo, and that's exactly what the Young Turks are. And so there's no reason to watch them anymore. And people have figured that out. So they're in a spiral. And so them lashing out at the Gray Zone and Aaron Mate was because they know Aaron Mate and the Gray Zone are on the rise because they're doing actual journalism that pushes back against the pro-war imperialist narrative. The Young Turks are imperialists.
Yes, I think that, and I'll pass it to you, JB. I won't get you in here. But now that you mention it, I think that's what did it. Because I remember I posted a tweet with Anna with Mattering with Albright. I think that's probably why she blocked me. Now I think about it. But go ahead, JB. What you about to say?
One of the things that made me cut them off in my head completely was they talked the talk, but they didn't walk the walk. And what I mean by that is the whole union busting by Cenk Uygur. That was something that, to me, it was like, wait a minute. You guys are supposed to be progressive, but you're busting unions? And so to me, that was like, wait a minute, no. If you truly are someone who's on the left, if I was a business owner on the left, I would be encouraging my workers to start a union because I want to make sure I'm as fair to them as possible. And another thing that ticked in my head was when Cenk Uygur said, I'm a capitalist. And I remember that because I was just like, you know what?
That's like, why am I watching then?
Why? Yeah. Why would somebody like me watch this? And by the way, I never gave money to the Young Turks because I'm poor as shit. So guess what? I didn't, but I definitely stopped watching, and I wouldn't dare recommend them to anybody whatsoever. And that's dangerous for them, because then if I'm talking to somebody and somebody says, oh yeah, watch the Young Turks, I'll be the first one to say, don't watch them anymore. And that's going to hurt them, because the thing is, they're not sticking to their values. If they stuck to their values, to the values that they said, that they claimed, that they espouse, then they would be doing, number one, a hell of a lot better. Number two, Jimmy Dore would still be there.
Yeah.
And number three, they would have people who look like this more on there that are not espousing the same talking points that somebody like a Joy Reid or Zerlina Maxwell as they espouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And...
So
ahead,
they Brianna Joy Gray was forced to vote. And she was for challenging Democratic politicians, and in an obvious way. And then someone called her an Uncle Tom for doing that. And the Young Turks bring them on their show all the time.
Like, what? That's to me, that's beyond the pale. Because to me, that's
news
insane.
to me.
That's I know exactly who you guys are referring to there. And
wow. Okay.
And this, like, I was always anti-establishment minded. I've known of you for a long time, Jimmy Dore. I watched a lot of different anti-establishment news. So I obviously watch TYT. I stopped watching them, and I picked up aggressive progressives on that. I remember that used to be like the only show I used to watch because I'm like, I don't care about watching this clown show where you just pretend Donald Trump is like the source of all problems. It's like it doesn't do anything for me. Like it doesn't do anything for me. You got the Democratic Party funding the police more. Meanwhile, you talking about Ben Shapiro every day. What's the guy name? I don't even know. I don't remember Dave Rubin. Like they do Dave Rubin segment all the time. Like stop! I don't care about Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin is a clown who only helps us at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they only help because they make such bad arguments. They're not the one who denied us healthcare. They're not the one who is They're not the one who funding genocides in Israel Palestine. And
that's what I said earlier, right?
We roasted Jank because I've been in the game as a political commentator for about a year now, and despite me still being new to this game, I could not imagine me having a take as bad as Cenk Uygur had on Israel Palestine.
Oh my God!
If I said that, because Jimmy, I told you I got a lot of people that don't like me. If I said the same tweet that Cenk Uygur said, I would be done. It'll be over.
Yeah.
I would have no credibility on the left no more. People would unsubscribe from my show. It'll be done for me. But he get away with it for some reason.
Well, not only that, but I mean him smearing Julian Assange and now smearing Aaron Mate. Aaron Mate, who's an independent journalist, takes no corporate funding, and who's actually in Syria on the ground right now debunking a pro-war narrative, and then he smears him as a traitor to our country. Cenk Uygur should be fucking cast out of polite society for that shit. What he's doing is the most disgusting. That's worse than anything Sean Hannity ever did. It's worse than anything Alex Jones ever did. It's worse than anything. You're fucking literally smearing journalists, risking their fucking lives to debunk pro-war narratives of bombs that are falling on more brown people, you fucking asshole. But Cenk Uygur's for bombing brown people all the time. He's always been for it. He organized pro-war rallies when he was in college. That's the kind of guy Cenk Uygur is, and you can't get that out of him. You can take the conservative out of the Republican Party, but you can't take the whatever the fuck. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean.
I know you mean, and it's like that take it so bad because what you doing is genocide erasing, and it's such a. I know you've been in this game for 30 years. What, 30 years or so? I've been in the game for 1 year. 1 year, and I know that this is not a race issue. We have a religious issue. We had Richard Medhurst on our show, and he explained in his neighborhood where he grew up in, you had Arab Christians where he is, Arab Jews, Arab Muslims, and they all stand for Palestine. You have Jewish people that stand for Palestine. But, so you think Cenk Uygur doesn't know this? This is why I don't watch them. Like, bro, you're purposely misleading people. And you can't convince me that he doesn't know this issue. Well, this issue is a colonial issue. And he's running defense for it. By he's trying to start a race war because that would, I'll get you in there, Jimmy, but that's what the Zionists want to do. The Zionists always make this about religion because their occupation of Palestine has no legal, intellectual, or moral basis. So the only way they can justify it by making a race war where Jewish people and other people feel like in order to stand in solidarity with the Jewish community, they must support Israel. But that's not what it's about. Meanwhile, what it's really about is about colonialism and fighting against imperialism. That's what it's about. It's a legal occupation. And Cenk Uygur is running interference by bringing up this nonsense. You can't convince me he don't know this. He's in this game 30 years longer than me. I just started. You tell me I'm smarter than him?
Of course he knows that. And it just goes to show you that he's willing to lie for whatever reason. So I'm sure that was virtue signaling to some kind of fucking donor. Hey, I'm pretending both sides are equal. Can I get some more donor money from a Clinton donor? It's just like he blatantly lied about forced to vote when he said that Kevin McCarthy could become speaker. That's a lie. Yeah. There was never a risk of Kevin McCarthy becoming the Speaker of the House if they forced the vote, if they withheld their vote from Nancy Pelosi. There was never a thing. And Cenk Uygur just kept saying that because it'll confuse enough people. And he had explained to him a million times that that's not how it works and you're lying. And he just kept lying. Well, guess what? There's justice in the world, and now nobody watches his fucking show.